So, hello. My name is Kitty Waters. Well, actually, Eloise Surfleet Middleton. And yes, I had lots of comments saying go for the rebrand. So it's definitely in my plan, put it that way. So watch this space. It won't be till next year now. But yes, welcome to the Kitty Talks podcast. This episode is entitled 3 Things I Wish I'd Done Earlier. Very important to me that you are learning from my mistakes. And hindsight is a wonderful, wonderful thing. You know, really gives us perspective. We're able to look at our lives and say, this was great, but actually I wish I'd done this earlier. So today we're going to talk about 3 things I've been reflecting on that I really wish that I had done earlier. So you guys can potentially navigate life and not make the same mistakes. So the first one I want to talk about is starting my mission and starting this work that I now do. I wish I'd started that earlier. So if you are out there listening to this is the sign you've been waiting for. Now let me tell you a bit about my story and my journey. My background was corporate. I worked in the corporate industry. I was a board director of a recruitment business. I was with that company for 12 years. I went and worked my way up from the bottom. I became the first female board director. It was, very good financially for me. I had equity and shares in the business. We were bought by James Kahn. And then I went into building another business with a business partner. We built that business to about 20 women. But by that stage of my life, I had really got into personal development. I'd really got into spiritual development. I was running the network already. I think that was about 7 years ago. And I got to the stage where I wanted all my work to be within this field. Really felt a strong call to it. But I had a lot of limiting beliefs and I had a lot of stories around how coaching wasn't a professional business, how I couldn't make the money and the living out of coaching that I could out of what I was doing in the corporate industry. And so what happened was I dabbled. And I dabbled for quite a while. So I was running a business of HR and recruitment. And we had 10 HR and 10 recruitment people. And we were probably doing a turnover of about 600 to 700,000. And we were working remotely. And we were doing well, but my heart wasn't in it. I really felt like I was going through the motions and I was just doing it for the money. And what ended up happening was the universe recorrected me. And I truly believe this happens a lot. If we're not listening to that inner voice, that inner sat-nav, then the universe will redirect us and reposition us. And that's exactly what happened in my case. Basically, long story short, is I had a very messy business partnership split. But actually, I came through it very easily because I knew in my heart of hearts it wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. I really did know that and I really felt that. And at that point, when I came out of that business, that must have been 6 years ago, that's when I started doing my work. So I remember taking time out after that business and I just remember saying to myself, right, I'm not going to do what I think I should be doing anymore, as in what I feel like society tells me I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I want to do, even if that's not, I would say logical, but actually I now know it is logical to do the thing that excites us. But at that point in my journey, I was very much like, starting a podcast? I can't see how that's going to work and how that's going to generate me an income. But actually, it was my highest excitement. So it was totally the right path for me. So I then started, obviously, building and doing what I now do, which is, 4, 5, 6 years later. So my advice to you is just start. I suppose regret is a strong word, but I think in hindsight, if I had the choice, I probably wouldn't have gone into that business because I did that for 3 years. I could be 3 years further on in my mission. So that's one way to look at it, not to scare you, but I do find it puts it in perspective. If you're teetering on the edge, I find a lot of people who come through Dharma, they shift a lot, their perspective shifts, their consciousness shifts, but they're still in their old jobs. And when you shift energetically, you're out of alignment with the place that you work. But obviously that's the scary bit, because people go, oh, I don't know how it's going to make it work full time, so they stay put. So if you're listening to this or there's a mission that you want to start and you're holding yourself back because you're not sure how you're going to do it, this is your sign. This is your sign to get going. Now, my advice would be start small. Work 4 days a week. Take a day a week to do your passion project. Incrementally shift yourself into what it is that you want to be doing. You'll know if it's the right thing because there'll be like a flow around it, and plus how you'll just feel as so alive when you're doing whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. If you're unsure what that is, then come and do your Dharma with us. We'll get you clear. But yeah, start small, take baby steps, and just start what it is you're being called to do, because you'll find it takes on a life of its own and the path will open up for you. So that would definitely be the first thing that I would say is, if you've got that inkling in your bones that you want to do something differently, just start doing it. Find a way to do it. It could be a blog. It could be just starting to write a book. It could be a podcast. You have to start somewhere. There was a beautiful post that I saw on Instagram, which I put into our Dharma group, which I'm going to read to you now, because I just thought it was so, so apt. You have to start somewhere. If you have kind of big aspirations around how you want to make an impact, you will have to practice because your first bits and bobs that you put out won't be perfect. And that's totally, totally normal. But you just have to start. You just have to start somewhere and you have to get going. It was something like your first podcast will be no good. Here it is. Your first podcast will be awful. Your first video will be awful. Your first article will be awful. Your first art will be awful. Your first photo will be awful. Got the picture? Your first game will be awful, but you can't make your 50th without making your first. So get over it and make it. And it's so, so true, because confidence comes from just starting and practicing. Remember when you're a kid and you get better and better and better at things, the more and more you do them. That's the same thing. You've got to do that in life. So that's definitely something I regret not starting. I think I could have started 3 or 4 years earlier. That now I see why I had to go through that experience, because it taught me to build a business. I'd run other people's businesses before. I hadn't built my own. So the experience that I had with the HR consultancy, showed me how to grow a business. So obviously I'm thankful for it. But in hindsight, I definitely would have started a little bit earlier. So that's number 1. Number 2 is get support. I am rubbish at asking for help. I'm not very good at... I like to try and figure everything out myself. I'm sure if you're listening to this, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. There's a bit of vulnerability about not wanting to admit that I don't know how to do something. So that's my ego, definitely. But again, hindsight is such a wonderful thing. Get support on where you are at. Depending on where you're at in your journey, if you don't know what you want to do and how you want to do it and you've got no idea, then Do Your Dharma is perfect for you, because we will totally shift your consciousness and give you a new way of looking at the world, and you'll get downloads and insights into your purpose, and you'll get very clear about what it is you want to do going forward. If you're further along on your journey and you're building a business, coaches, I have a coach myself. I think it's really important that coaches have coaches. And I think it depends on which area of your life you're looking to expand into. I've been guilty of not wanting to ask for help because I try and figure it all out. And recently with the baby stuff, I've gone out and I've asked for support, which was difficult because it's kind of like, it was a good lesson actually, because when I wasn't doing it, I didn't really want to, I kind of felt like I should know all this stuff because this is something I teach, how to create and manifest, and baby's like the ultimate creation. But as soon as I got support and as soon as I asked for help, I thought, what an idiot, basically, because we are designed to all be interconnected. So what do I mean by that? Humans have our power, but I believe we become more powerful when we are supporting and working with one another. And also, we can't see our own stuff. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're like the top transformational leader in the world, you need other people to help you. It's just the way the world works. You know, no one's got it all figured out, right? If you're looking at people on Instagram and think, oh my God, they're amazing, they're not. They're just, you know, they're bolder about taking action, but they haven't got everything figured out. No human being has, you know, and I think it's a mistake to think that people who are successful, you know, they're all going to have challenges. You know, I think sometimes the more money you've got, the bigger the challenges you get. So don't let that fool you. Comparison is the thief of joy as well. But definitely do get support, because it does speed up your evolution. I worked with a coach this year and she was incredibly supportive, and literally I think it kind of pushed me to do things I wouldn't have done before. So it definitely sped up my journey. And nowadays you can find all sorts of support. So, you know, I think sometimes people think, oh, I can't afford a coach and they're too expensive. And there are ways that you can get support, community-like support, that will really benefit your journey. So Dharma at the moment is $395. It's going to be going up to $595. I'm just getting such good results that I know I need to charge more for what I am offering. It's a complete rewiring. So come and join us at $395 before it goes up. It will go up in April, and Dharma is in May. So you've got a little bit of time. You can always come pay a deposit. So just to tell you, I've just put my dog out because he wanted to go out, and then 2 minutes later he had barked because he wants to come back in. Now they say that animals train you, and I definitely would agree with that. So get support, because it will speed up your evolution. And if you are somebody who's getting the inkling around the mission, if you are somebody that, you know, there's more to life and you're feeling it and you just don't know quite how to access it, you know, go ahead, get some support. Don't kind of wait, because I think the thing I remember is I was so in my head about everything. Like I desperately wanted to contribute, and I desperately wanted to be out there, and I desperately wanted to be doing what I'm doing now, right? But I was petrified and I didn't know where to start, and I was so in my head and I didn't know if what I was doing was good enough. And, you know, I probably spent about 6 to 12 months just having the same conversation, going round and round and round and round, and getting frustrated with myself, and then probably finding a way of releasing it that was negative, if you see what I mean, probably, you know, drinking or something just to sort of forget about what I wanted to do. And it's the sort of a frustrating place to be. And obviously you don't want your energy to be frustration, you want your energy to be flow. So, you know, the thing I would advise is, if this is you, if this is resonating with you, find one thing a day you can do towards where you want to go. Baby steps, literally do one thing towards your dream life, towards your mission, towards your purpose, towards your vision, because it's incremental. You know, you start doing those little baby steps, they will add up. Most people just don't bother. And then they wonder why they wake up in the same life 50 years later. So get support, find people that you resonate with, you know, find people. There's so many people out there doing this work now. It's fantastic, but it is definitely beneficial to have a community, because we are humans. We go up and down. You know, some days we're going to think we can take on the world. Other days we're going to be like, oh my God, I just want to go back to bed. So having a community of people to support you and lift you up is invaluable, because when you're down, those people can support you and pick you back up again. So that would definitely be my top tip number 2. And I found, you know, having a coach is really empowering. And I have, you know, I'm very lucky. I have a few different communities because I've built them, but the Network for Transformational Leaders, we're off on our next event. On Tuesday, I'm going out there. I'm flying to Zurich, and then I'm getting the train through the mountains to a place called Davos. Davos is quite a well-known place. They hold the World Congress Forum there, which is all the political leaders and the top leaders of the world come in. And it's a mountain town. It's a skiing town. We are having an event there. We've got transformational leaders flying in from all over the world: Australia, America, Germany, France, Denmark, Sweden, England, you name it. It's very exciting. And then just can't wait. It's going to be so good. It's going to be all snowy, and we've never really done an event in the snow. So watch my stories for behind the scenes about that event. But we're doing amazing things, like we're going to have a ride, a horse and carriage ride with, glue vine and kind of loads of like covers and stuff. We're going to be getting a ride through the town up to one of the beautiful restaurants. And yeah, so it's going to be amazing. Going to be really, really amazing. So that was something that I'm so pleased I started, and it's given me a lot of support, the network. And then obviously I've got my Dharma community, and then I've got my own coach. So, it's important to have a support around you. So if you're listening to this podcast, think about who you've got. It's one thing to have a friend, but it's another thing to have an entrepreneurial friend. It's another thing to have a group of entrepreneurs that are supporting you, because no man is an island. We cannot do it at all by ourselves. So the other thing I would say, the third thing that I would say is stick to what you're good at. And I suppose the thing that I wish I'd probably done a little bit earlier as well was getting support, but in a different way. I suppose the other way of getting support is with a PA or somebody who can support your business to grow. Very, very powerful. Hopefully you know what it is that you're good at, and you should always stick to what you're good at. And make sure that you're not dissipating your energy on trying to do things that take a long, long time, that aren't your natural alignment. So one of the things I did probably about a year into my business was I wrote down everything I wanted to do and I enjoyed doing. So for me, it's speaking, it's workshops, it's podcasts, it's coaching, and that's pretty much it. To be honest with you, I don't like doing website stuff. I don't like doing technical stuff. I don't like finishing anything, full stop at all. I'm not very good at it. So get a yin to your yang, because again, this will speed up your evolution. And I wish I'd done that earlier, because at the beginning I was doing everything myself, and you're trying to save money, but actually it's a bit of a false economy, because you're doing things that would take you 3 or 4 times the length of time they take someone who's good at them to do. It's like a spreadsheet. If I try and do a spreadsheet, that could take me 3 days. And then by the end of it, I'm annoyed and frustrated and in a very low level of vibration. So name of the game is to stay high vibe in life, full stop. To work out what is pulling you down and taking you out of your vibration that you want to be. Do things you love and stay in that vibration. And I think people always have blocks. They think, I can't employ a cleaner. I can't employ a secretary. I can't employ an admin person. Yes, you can. You just don't want to. So, find somebody that can support your business at the right level. And then I suppose that the top tip I give to people who I'm working with is get them to do a project price around what you need as well. Because what you don't want to do is rack up loads and loads of hours with somebody. Tell them this is what you need doing and this is the project price. Do it like that. So yes, those are 3 things that in hindsight I wish I had done earlier. So I'd love to hear from you guys. This is all a big conversation. So, you guys have got a lot of wisdom that you can bring to this conversation. So please go over to my Instagram and tell me 3 things that you wish that you had done previously. Because we can speed up everybody's evolution here by us sharing this information with each other. We can learn from one another. So you beautiful people, thank you so much for tuning in this week. As ever, I love having you in my life. So come and say hello. And we will see you next week with another amazing guest on Kitty Talks.
This podcast was sponsored by my Do Your Dharma course. Create a life so good that you pinch yourself. This 8-week online course demystifies Dharma and shows you how to tune in to why you're really here. Go to www.kittytalks.com/do your Dharma.